Imagine this. You wake up at 2 in the morning with a pain in your stomach that won't stop. You're alone. You're in a foreign country, and the only thing you can do is go to the emergency room. So you go, and then you wait.
And wait.
And wait some more.
8 hours to be precise.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Fluent Tales. I'm Sarah. Today, we're talking about one of the most universal experiences in healthcare, sitting in an emergency room, not knowing what's happening, and trying to explain your symptoms in a language that isn't yours. If you're new here, subscribe and turn on the bell. And if today's episode helps you, please give us a thumbs up.
Welcome back. I'm James. Today's vocabulary: triage, vital signs, discharge, IV fluids are words you will hear in any emergency room in the English-speaking world. By the end of this episode, you'll know exactly what to say and what to expect.
Grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's hear today's story.
Today we're talking about Diego, 32 years old, from Brazil, traveling through Australia on a tourist visa. 6 weeks in, Sydney, Melbourne, the Great Barrier Reef, the trip of his life. Until Tuesday night.
Diego went to bed feeling slightly off. Just slightly. The kind of feeling where you think, I'll be fine in the morning. But at 2:15, he woke up with a deep, persistent pain in his abdomen that made it impossible to lie still.
He walked around the hotel room, drank water. Nothing helped. At 3 in the morning, he called a taxi and went to the emergency room.
He walked through the sliding doors of the ER and was immediately hit by something unexpected. It wasn't chaos. It wasn't rushing doctors. It was quiet. Fluorescent lights, rows of plastic chairs, a television showing a cooking show at 3 in the morning, and about 20 people, all sitting in various states of discomfort, all waiting.
Diego approached the front desk. A nurse looked up and said, "Hi there, what brings you in tonight?" Diego said, "I have a pain in my stomach, here." He pointed to the lower right side of his abdomen. The nurse nodded. "Okay, fill out this form and we'll call you in for triage."
40 minutes later, a nurse took his vital signs, blood pressure, heart rate, temperature, oxygen level, and asked, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is the pain? Diego said, 7, maybe 7.5. She wrote it down and said, "A doctor will be with you as soon as possible."
As soon as possible. The 4 most optimistic words in emergency medicine.
Diego went back to the waiting room. 1 hour. 2 hours. The cooking show ended. A nature documentary started. A small child fell asleep across 3 chairs. Diego sat with his hand on his abdomen and breathed slowly.
Around 6 in the morning, a nurse finally took him to an examination bay, a curtained space with a bed and a monitor. She said, "The doctor will be with you shortly. Can I get you anything?" Diego said, "Can I have some water?" She said, "I'm sorry, we need to keep you nil by mouth for now. Nothing to eat or drink until the doctor assesses you."
Nil by mouth. A phrase Diego had never heard before. One he would remember forever.
At 6:45, Dr. Chen appeared, tired-looking but focused. He pressed on Diego's abdomen in several places. When he reached the lower right side, Diego inhaled sharply. Dr. Chen made a note and said, "I want blood tests and an ultrasound. We need to rule out appendicitis."
Appendicitis. Diego knew that word from Portuguese. His stomach dropped. He said, "Is it serious?" Dr. Chen said, "Let's get the tests done first, but if it is appendicitis, you're in exactly the right place."
A nurse inserted an IV line into Diego's arm, a thin tube directly into a vein, and gave him fluids and pain medication. Almost immediately, the pain dropped from a 7 to a 4. Diego leaned back and for the first time since 2 in the morning, felt like he could breathe.
The tests came back. Dr. Chen returned at 9:30 and sat down. "Good news," he said. "It's not appendicitis. You have gastroenteritis, A stomach infection. We're going to give you more IV fluids and some anti-nausea medication. If everything looks stable in an hour, we'll discharge you with a prescription.
Not appendicitis. The two most beautiful words Diego had ever heard in English.
At 11:20, 8 hours after he arrived, Diego was discharged. The nurse handed him discharge papers explaining his diagnosis, his medication, and when to come back if symptoms returned. She said, "Any questions?" Diego looked at the papers, then at her, and said, "Yes. Where's the nearest place I can get breakfast?"
She pointed him to a cafe across the street. Diego walked out into the Sydney morning sunshine, sat down with coffee and toast, and called his mother in Brazil.
She cried. He told her he was fine. She cried more. He ate his toast.
Classic.
James, you've worked in emergency rooms. What do you wish patients understood before they arrive?
Triage. Because the number one complaint in every ER in the world is, why is that person being seen before me? They arrived after me. And I understand the frustration, but triage doesn't work by arrival time. It works by urgency. If someone arrives after you with chest pains, they go first. That's not unfair. That's medicine working exactly as it should.
And speak up. If your pain gets significantly worse while you're waiting, go back to the triage desk and tell them. Don't sit quietly and suffer. They need to know if your condition is changing.
8 hours feels like forever when you're the one waiting. But for Diego, those 8 hours meant the difference between going home with medication and waiting until something much more serious developed.
Learning section time. 5 essential words from today's story.
Number 1, triage. The process of assessing patients when they arrive at the ER to determine how urgently they need treatment. Not who arrived first, how serious the condition is. Pronunciation, triage. You'll hear, "We'll call you in for triage."
Number 2, vital signs. The 4 basic measurements that show how your body is functioning right now. Blood pressure, heart rate, temperature, and oxygen level. Vital signs. The nurse will say, "I'm going to take your vital signs."
Number 3, NIL by mouth. A medical instruction meaning you cannot eat or drink anything, not even water, until the doctor says so. Used when tests or possible surgery are needed. Pronunciation, NIL by mouth. If you hear this, do not eat or drink anything.
Number 4, IV fluids. IV means intravenous, directly into a vein. IV fluids are liquids and medications delivered through a thin tube inserted into your arm. Pronunciation, IV fluids. This is often the fastest way to reduce pain and dehydration.
Number 5, discharge. Being released from the hospital when your treatment is complete. You'll receive discharge papers with your diagnosis and home care instructions. Pronunciation, discharge. You can ask, when will I be discharged?
3 phrases for the ER. First, I have a pain here, and point exactly to where it hurts. Location is critical for diagnosis. Never just say, "I feel bad."
Second, on a scale of 1 to 10, the pain is a, and give a number. Doctors will ask this every time. Be honest, this number directly affects your treatment.
Third, can you explain that again, please? You are allowed to ask for clarification as many times as you need. Medical English is complex, even for native speakers. Always ask until you understand.
Today's word, triage. It comes from French, so the pronunciation is unusual. Triage. The second syllable sounds like the S in measure. Say it with me. Triage. Triage. In a sentence, I need to go through triage. One more time. I need to go through triage. Perfect.
Important for travelers in Australia. Tourists are not covered by Medicare, the Australian public health system. You will receive a bill for your ER visit. This is why travel insurance is not optional. Keep your insurance card in your wallet, not your hotel room.
And if your condition gets significantly worse while you're waiting, more pain, difficulty breathing, feeling faint, go back to the triage desk immediately. A long wait doesn't mean you're forgotten. It means the cases ahead of you are more serious. But your safety always comes first.
5 questions. We'll explain the answers.
Question 1. What country was Diego visiting? Australia, on a tourist visa, which means he needed travel insurance to cover his medical costs.
Question 2. What symptom brought Diego to the ER? Abdominal pain. Deep, persistent, starting at 2 in the morning. He rated it 7 out of 10.
Question 3. What does nil by mouth mean? Nothing to eat or drink, not even water. The doctors needed to run tests and prepare for possible surgery.
Question 4. What did the nurse use to give Diego medication? An IV line. A thin tube inserted into a vein in his arm. The fastest way to deliver fluids and medication directly into the bloodstream.
Question 5. What was Diego's final diagnosis? Gastroenteritis, a stomach infection, not appendicitis. He was discharged with medication and instructions for recovery.
How did you do? If you missed any, go back to the vocabulary section. That's exactly what it's there for.
Quick review. Triage. Assessed by urgency, not arrival time. Vital signs. Blood pressure, heart rate, temperature, oxygen level. Nil by mouth. Nothing to eat or drink. IV fluids. Liquids and medication directly into a vein. Discharge. Released from hospital with home care instructions.
And that's Diego's story. He went to an emergency room, alone, in pain, in a foreign country, in his second language. And he got through it. And now you have the vocabulary to do the same.
If this episode helped you, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Fluent Tales. Leave a comment telling us where you're from and what medical situation you'd like us to cover next. We read every single one.
Thank you for being here. Take care of yourselves and each other. This has been Fluent Tales.
See you next time.
And Diego says, next time I travel, I'm bringing my insurance card, my passport, and a very large breakfast, just in case they make me nil by mouth again. The most prepared traveler in Brazil. Bye, everyone.